You cold emailed Team New Zealand and then became their best grinder at the America's Cup. You were in the SAS at 21, you've beaten Mahi Drysdale's rowing record, and you managed an MIQ facility in Mangere during COVID.
One of the races we were coming off the foils and the other boat was miles ahead, and we battled our way through and took the win out of that one. That was pretty deep in the hurt locker there, and it's just the way I sort of work when I'm in that hole in pain. Is just like, I just can't let the team down, and so I was just giving everything I had to give the boys the power that they needed to do what they could. The selection process is 9 days in total. The first day is broken down into a series of military tests. So you've got a 2.4k run, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and then you've got an 8-kilometre pack march, fireman's carry, drag, rope climb, 6-metre wall, 6-metre ditch, and then an 8-kilometre run minus your pack. And then you've got to do I think it's about a 200-300 metre swim out, dive down, pick up some sand and come up with it. And then that's day one done. And then
that's day one.
We don't need to talk about this if it's not comfortable, but I wondered about Nick, because Nick was probably your closest friend, right? Are you able to tell us what happened with Nick?
yeah.
This week on Between Two Beers, we talk to Marius van der Poel. Marius is what we call a low-key legend, a Kiwi with an epic story that hasn't been told before. His involves joining the army at 19 and becoming one of the youngest to ever pass SAS selection, aged 21. He completed several overseas assignments, including the Middle East. On a whim, he decided to enter the New Zealand Indoor Rowing Champs, despite not being a rower, and won, setting a new New Zealand record and beating Mahi Drysdale's time by 4 seconds. He then linked up with Emirates Team New Zealand and became a grinder in 2021 and a cyclor in Barcelona in 2024, still aged just 34. We hear all of his most incredible stories from the SAS, America's Cup, and everything in between. His mindset and the way he approaches life will blow you away, and the way he leans into the uncomfortable I found incredibly inspiring. This episode was brought to you by TAB. Download the app and get your bet on. Marius van der Poel, welcome to Between Two Beers.
Thanks very much for having me. Privileged to be here on your day one of the studio.
Yeah, we owe this chat to your father-in-law, Bruce Chisholm. He sent us an incredibly compelling email of why we should have you on the show. And it's quite rare for us, but without doing any other research, we just said, let's take a gamble on this guy. Yeah. And I'm bloody glad we did.
Strength of Bruce's words. We said, yeah, we'll do it.
But how are you feeling about this chat? Did Bruce tell you he's putting you forward?
No, I was actually in Sorrento, and I got an email from Bruce, and I think the title was I think you'll enjoy this, I hope. And so cheers, Bruce, for I think getting me on here. He's a bit of a weapon in his own right.
Have you done any of our podcasts before? We know you've done one yourself, but have you listened to any of us?
I've listened to you guys, yeah. Sean Quincy's a bit of a standout in my books, but
he's done his research. I like it.
This is a great app. We're going to bring a few voices in on this one to kind of help paint a picture, as I like to say. The first one is Adam's story, and he said, Marius messaged me to give me a heads up that you would be in touch regarding the podcast. He's not a fan of public speaking or talking about himself at all. So when he mentioned that he has been put forward to be on your podcast, he said, and I quote, I'm fully against it, which is why I'll do it. This quote pretty much sums up his desire to continuously push himself into being uncomfortable in order to grow. Can you tell us about that?
It's a bit of a trend. I think that's probably in my earlier life. I haven't really spoken too much about it, but when I was quite a little fella in Russell Primary School, went out the cross country out the back road of there, and it's quite a rural community out there, and we're doing the cross country, and I came out of the gate quite hot, and I was winning, and we were leading for quite a while, and just that attention on me and everyone cheering, and I just froze up, and I was like, this isn't me. Why? I don't like this attention on me. So I faked a trip up, fell down, and waited for half the pack to overtake me, then stood up and carried on and finished in the top group, but just didn't want to be up there getting all the attention, really. And I remember seeing the guy who won towards the end, and he was jumping around with his gold medal, and I was like, that could have been mine. And I didn't really do any reflection on that for quite some time, and it's probably in my early 20s where I sort of took that on board and took a lot of lessons from that. It's like, well, you need to get out there and start getting after it to grow, really. And So that's been a bit of a common theme since then.
We're going to sort of talk about your story, but in specifically telling your story, thinking of coming to share this and being uncomfortable doing it, but doing it because you're uncomfortable. Like, what was the thought process? Like, you heard the request to come on the podcast, and your first instinct is, I don't want to do it, and then you're like, no, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I just think it's like an easy. You can take an easy out anywhere throughout your life, but it's not really going to get you anywhere. So I think it's always worthwhile taking those risks, and you don't know what opportunity is going to land from taking those risks as well. So very recently with the indoor rowing record, that was another big change that I didn't need to do, but that pivoted my career into the Team New Zealand. So it's, that was another case in point for me.
My great hope is that this podcast pivots your life into another something epic, and I think it will. I'm going to bring in Simon van Veldhuizen now, who's a teammate at Emirates Team New Zealand. He says, I was surprised that you'd managed to convince him to come onto the podcast, because one of the ways I would describe Marius is quite private. He's quiet, calm, and a highly, highly capable person. He's not someone that talks about himself at all, really, but he's got a hell of a story to tell. Marius is attracted to really hard things. Hardship, I guess, in general would be something I think that captures his interest. I don't think he even realises what his accomplishments probably mean, and he's still pretty young. That whole SAS world he lived in, the way he caught the attention of Emirates Team New Zealand by breaking the indoor New Zealand rowing record despite not being a rower, then becoming probably one of, if not the best grinder at the America's Cup. It just requires a really high work ethic, which he has far beyond anyone I've ever met in life. It's just unbelievable. So he's just a masochist, I suppose.
Yeah, pretty solid words from Simon there.
You had to Google what masochist meant.
Well, yeah, I did. And a masochist is someone who finds pleasure in pain. So that was the question at the end of that, and we're doing a job of framing it up. But is that true? Do you find pleasure in pain?
It's almost like the opposite. I find it's more painful to know you haven't left everything out on the table. So yeah, talking about the specifically that Auckland Cup that Simon was talking about there. There was a number of sessions that we did throughout the campaign, and they're all quite intense. We did about 2 sessions a week that were quite gnarly. And even if I'd win a session and I knew there was still something left in there, that was almost worse for me than coming last and having given it my all. From like a personal and selfish point of view, it's not so much the result, it's how much I've beaten myself.
This is perfect, because I spoke to your mate Tom, who painted a picture, quite a graphic picture, in fact, of a really like an example of this, which he kind of offered up. And he's like, look, this isn't my story to tell, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. So we were on the phone together a few months ago, and I sort of said to him, what have you been up to, Marius? He said, I've just been training. And Tom was kind of surprised, because he's like, well, you're not sailing or anything. What are you training for? He goes, you said, I've got a video to show you. And his description to me was, it was a video of an erg covered in vomit, and then you backed it up with a photo of a pair of shorts that you shat yourself in. And he's like, what's going on? And he said, on the call, Libby, your wife, is in the background saying, yeah, it's disgusting, but like, you've pushed yourself without needing to vomiting and shitting yourself on a Tuesday night. Is that in your locker?
Yeah, well, I mean, why not? I just had a ride, and I just, when you can, during the sessions, you're pushing yourself and you're really wanting to get the most amount of, get your numbers up and get those watts going. And it's a number of times there, you can, you just want to put it all out there. But if you go too hard and you stuff up your strategy, you can blow out. So you're sort of just trying to find that, toe the line, go as hard as you can for as long as you can and do that. But I just wanted to see what would happen if I just went all out and didn't really care about the outcome. It was just keep going and going and going. And that was the results I found out. So
which one came first? Which end?
Yeah, the vomit came first, and then there were 2 vomits, and then then the pants came next. So
you're pushing through. You feel the vomit come in, and you're like, right, but you just keep going until there's total eruption everywhere.
Yeah. No, it's just a just a good experience, I think, to sort of see where that line is, you know.
I'm really curious about the mindset of being, you've spewed twice, and are you just in a pool of exhaustion and going, oh, I'm just going to shit myself now? Or like the thought process to being like, I'm just going to shit here in the lounge, I guess. Or
well, yeah, we're in the loft, and it's Thomas has also shat up there himself. But yeah, it's just when you're doing the sessions in the gym and it's all recorded, you really want to get the maximum number that you possibly can. But in those sessions, I quite enjoy them where there's just no strategy involved and you're just you versus you and seeing what happens. So, yeah.
It's exceptional mindset, and I'm going to start sort of building into how it came to be. So to take us back to the foundation. So growing up in Northland, what sort of childhood did you have? You know, we're going to build into the way that your mind works and how it's different. But when you reflect back on growing up and perhaps parents, like, is there something that correlates?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. Like, something in me from a young age that I had that just wanted to, I guess, was quite stubborn. I didn't really care too much about things. I was pretty chill from what I remember. But if there's a certain thing that I wanted to get, I'd get after it. Pretty free range childhood, really. We just roamed around bare feet pretty much all year round and beach, and that was pretty much it, really. I guess my earliest memory of really pushing it was went for a bike ride with my old man. I think I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old. And going for a 10K bike ride, which is massive when I'm that age, and going up a big hill, which I'd never really done before. And I just burst into tears. And Dad was like, "Oh shit! Like, do you want to turn around?" I was like, "Nah. I'll keep going." And I don't know why, but that was probably my earliest memory of pushing through. Really.
Your mum also referenced the trip. I think you went to Vanuatu with a family, and the father of the family was just super impressed with how you were able to, like, you made your bed every morning, and he almost, I think he was a military man and almost picked up in way before you went into the military that you had those sort of tendencies of being really disciplined about things, making your bed and that sort of stuff. Where did that come from?
I have no idea, because Mum and Dad aren't so much like that, and my sister's not either. So it's maybe just a black sheep, really, in that regard. But yeah, as long as I can remember, I've always been very ordered and like things squared away. Lib still gives me shit because I am a bit of a mess in the morning, so I like to set myself up for success. The night before, I'll leave, fold my socks out the right way, undies, t-shirt, shorts, so I can roll out of bed and go that and hit the gym straight away. So knowing me, if I don't do that, I'll socks inside out, t-shirts wrong way. And so.
Stephen Holloway mode.
I want to build into joining the army because I understand this was a really difficult decision for your mum specifically, and perhaps both of your parents. You weren't destined for this path, but I'm interested in why it appealed to you and that decision to actually join and how it came about.
Yeah, it's quite a random one, really. At school, 3 subjects that I really enjoyed was biology, graphics, and PE. And I was pretty dead set on becoming an architect. And then my good mate Tom, just off the cuff one day, I don't think he really had too much intention of actually following through, but was like, I'm going to join the army. He's like, oh, sweet. All right, I'll do that with you. And Tom, being Tom, got halfway through the online admin, realised it was too hard and pulled pin. And by that stage, I was already committed. And turned up to Wairau and I shot off the bus without my mate.
He said you'd started the training and to use your words, once you've made a decision to go for it, you were locked in and that was what you were going to do regardless.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of a theme, really. Like, it's whenever I find something, it just clicks, and then no matter what, that's where my focus sort of lies, and that just aligned with me at the time. And going off my recruiter, like, I was so naive to this whole army thing and didn't even know what the SAS was and that it existed. And going off my test results as well, the recruiter said, "Oh, you can be a medic." I was like, "Oh, sweet! I'll be running around, carrying guys to the battlefield." That was my sort of level of naivety, really. But yeah.
And your mum's response, like, how did you navigate that decision to join the army?
There was no real negotiation. It was just, this is what I'm doing now. Mum and Dad have always been pretty hands off with that sort of, I guess, side of decision making. Like, it's got to be right for you and it's got to be your choice. You got to be happy with it. And I think it really blew Dad's mind because he's Dutch, And he was part of like the compulsory service over there, and he hated it so much he acted crazy and he got dishonorably discharged. So he just couldn't believe that his son would volunteer for, for something like that.
You mentioned that Dutch heritage. Where does your name come from, Marius?
Yep. So yeah, Dad's Dutch, and it's Marius is also named after my granddad over there.
So just a family name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our audience and us love the SAS stuff. Jamie Pinnell, who I know you've had a relationship with, and Alia as well. It's of great interest because people don't really talk, it's kind of like a secret place. And once we get insight from someone who's been in there, like we want to ask all we can. So I want you to link us up. So you joined the army at 19, and then how soon after that do you decide that you're actually going to try to get into the SAS?
So probably would have been about a year into my service, and I met an ex-regiment guy or ex-SAS guy in my course. He had done his time up there, done his tours of Afghan, and he was just learning to get his qualifications as a medic. And just talking to him throughout our training, and it didn't take too much to sort of see what's where I want to be. And just after that, just everything I did was surrounded about that end goal, really.
The selection process is it's the big talking point for a lot of people who don't understand what the SAS is. What was your knowledge based off the conversation with that colleague, or did you really know anything at all about it? Or have you gone in completely blind and gone, oh, this SAS thing sounds like a good idea?
Pretty much just sounded like, I was like, oh, this sounds awesome. And then after that decision was made, then got pretty deep into it. There's an online documentary on YouTube. And I mean, it's old, but it's still very relevant to the process of it all. And I just studied that. I think I watched the selection episode like every night for sort of 2 months straight leading into it, and just a lot of visualization of what those candidates are going through and how they're feeling, what their emotions are at that time, and try to put myself into that world, and just try, I guess, get a feel for as much as possible I can. And so when I'm in that situation myself, it's not as foreign.
Did you start pushing yourself physically? Because the physical exertions of the first part of the testing particularly are quite taxing. So did you start pushing yourself to vomiting and shitting your pants while you were in the military?
We didn't go straight to shitting, but me and Matt, we trained pretty hard together. So I was incredibly fortunate. I think everything was sort of stacked in our favour. We were young, and also due to being so young, no one really had any expectations of us doing well, which is quite nice to have that pressure off our shoulders. No partners, and it was just us just training together, and we had an incredibly supportive platoon sergeant as well. He was an X3 para guy, and he really gave us time to go train and go for gold, really. So we just go down to the river there and pick up big stones from riverbed and chuck them in our packs and go hit the hills, Port Hills and Christchurch and up Haswell Quarry there, and
Do you have freedom to talk about, we're going to continue asking about SAS, but I'm just sort of wondering how it works. Like, do you need clearance to talk about the selection and what's involved? Are there things you can and can't say?
Selection is, it's a lot of it's open source. I'll just mention stuff that's in the documentary, really, and and my personal experiences, but there's nothing really compromising in that regard.
So tell us how it is. Like, how many are in the intake? How many? Like, how long is it? How many make it through on average in each selection?
Okay, so the selection process is 9 days in total. The first day is broken down into a series of military tests. So you've got a 2.4K run, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. Then you've got an 8 kilometre pack march, fireman's carry, drag, rope climb, 6 metre wall, 6 metre ditch, and then an 8 kilometre run minus your pack. And then you've got to do I think it's about a 200-300 metre swim out, dive down, pick up some sand and come up with it. And then that's day one done. And then
that's day one.
And I guess the main thing that's probably quite crippling is that the rations as well. I think it's going off the top of my head, it's like 5 baked beans, a slice of bread, I think a sausage maybe for breakfast. And
5 individual baked beans.
5 individual baked beans, yeah.
A slice of
white bread and sausage, I think.
like what? Like fuck.
That's for each day.
That's for each day, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's obviously not a lot to fuel the body when you're going for that sort of rigorous training. And so day 2 and 3 and 4, they're pretty much similar in an aspect of you've got your pack on, which is 35 kgs, and you're just navigating a route over hilly terrain with a set time limit on that as well. And again, that food and sleep deprivation is all meted out very carefully. You'll find yourself doing some pretty average tasks to keep yourself up at night. Like reading like a navigation booklet backwards, word by word, around the room. And then day after that, there's jerry's, and so that's jerry cans. We went out west on the west coast there, and front guy's carrying 2 jerry cans, and everyone else after him's carrying 1. And you just take turns. It's probably the biggest mind fuck I've ever come across. There's no finish line, so it doesn't matter how hard you're going, you're there. There's nothing you can do about it really.
How heavy are the jerry cans?
So they're 20 kgs each.
And what do you mean no finish line? Like when does it finish?
It's set on time, and so you're just going, and you don't have watches, and it's a decent amount of time that you're out there, and you're just going up a sand dune, and the instructor goes down there, and you're just following this guy, and it goes into night time, and he's just following this little reed slalom. And
Jamie talked about this. This was the one that broke it because he failed the first time, right? So what is going through your head? Like how are you surviving this?
Yeah, I was pretty lucky. I had some guys that I really respected from my infantry battalion. One of them happened to be one of my instructors and Matt's instructors on core training. And he's someone that I just sort of put up on a bit of a pedestal. And he just came. I was in the same group, so he's sort of broken down into even groups of about 5 or so. And being in the same group with him, he was just like, "How are you going, bro?" I was like, "I'm fucked." He's like, "Yeah, mate." It's just like, if you'll do it, I'll do it. And then that was quite a turning point for me, having someone that I put up on a pedestal like that come and say something like that to me. I was like, "Oh, sweet." It's cracked on.
Where's it sore with the jerry? Is it your shoulders? Is it your body? Is it just your mind?
Yeah, everything. It's, I wouldn't say it's not like an unimaginable pain to quit on the spot, but it's just quite a sustained amount of time under that amount of pain. So it's like you're not wanting to quit because of that pain, but it's just the timeline that you're under that level of pain is pretty uncomfortable.
Jamie sort of spoke about it's the mind that goes. It's your mind. It's your thoughts that go. I can't do this anymore. Long before your body breaks down. So is that the hardest element of it? Is defeating the dialogue that's going on in your own head?
Yeah. And so I guess I got to the point. So after the jerry cans, there's 2 days where you're behind enemy lines as such, and you're being chased by enemy party as well, and you're not allowed to use the roads, and you've got a series of checkpoints to make it all the way through.
I always thought that was an urban legend. that on the they get dropped somewhere and you've got to sneak back into town without being detected. But that's essentially it.
Yeah. And at the end of that, you're pretty crippled, and then they throw in a little 60-kilometer pack march at the end to top it all off. And during that march, I got quite a low point really, and I got to the point where I was thinking, well, if there's a gun to my head and someone said, if you can't take another step, I'll shoot. Could I take another step? And the answer was always yes. And that was just, a reoccurring question that I posed to myself for 60 kilometers. And
is that a scenario that has popped into your head while you're doing that, or is that something that you've pre-thought about beforehand?
That happened on that scenario. Yeah. So that was, I also had written down like a little notepad of all the reasons why I was doing it. And I was like, I wanted to do it so bad and get through, and having come so far and then to not make the cut would have just been, soul crushing. So I was like, fuck, I've got to do this because I don't want to come back again, but I will if I have to. So
how many people drop out? Like what percentage of people drop out at the jerry can part and as the weeks progress? Like how many are left at the end?
Yeah, so it's quite a big culling point at the jerrys. I think most selection courses run around 50 50 guys, and then you'll sort of drop around, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, and then you'll probably lose over half at the juries. And once you've passed the juries, most of the guys crack on after that.
Yeah. What's the last days look like?
So that's 60 kilometer one, and that's takes a while. But yeah, you sort of for me the checkpoint started off from what I remember quite evenly spaced, and so like, oh yeah, sweet, I'm making good ground, and then I don't know if it's by design or not, but then they stop becoming so routine, and then you're like, oh, I'm due to hit a checkpoint soon. You're like, fuck, maybe I'm going quite slow here. And it's just this constant mind fuck all the way through, really, because it's it gets dark and you start seeing things. And
do you watch any of those shows that they have on TV now where they put celebrities through that sort of stuff and they're fucking getting berated and like, do you watch that stuff?
No, not really.
I just wondered how close that is, because it's like, are you also getting like the instructors and stuff verbally giving you like quit now, Marius, you fuck all. Like, are they giving it to you as well, or do they just leave you in silence to kind of just deal with it?
Yeah, they just leave you, and I think that's almost worse because it leaves a lot of second guessing, especially when you're under fatigue. So especially like during the navigation exercises, you'll say your mag bearing, your distance, time taken, and they'll just look at you like, okay, you're like, well, is it right? Was it wrong? Okay, it's like, fuck, right. Well, I'll just follow, crack on, and then they'll follow you, and you're like, follow me because I did a right decision or a bad decision. And it's I reckon it's worse having just that. The approach is firm, fair, and unfriendly, really. So
you're 21 at this point, right?
Yeah.
How many other 21-year-olds would pass? Like, how rare is it for someone so young to pass selection?
Yeah, I don't think there's that many. I'm definitely not the youngest. There's definitely been quite a few who've been younger than me, but I think the typical age is probably like mid to late 20s. I think they get through.
And what's the feeling like? Like, how does it get signaled that you have passed and ended? And what's the feeling like with the sort of camaraderie with the other guys around you that you've all done this together?
I mean, for my mate Matt, that was pretty awesome to have gone through that with him. Like, we had done a trip to Solly's with him and did all the training as well. So that was that meant a lot. But then I guess a lot of the other guys, it's not a huge team building exercise. You're an individual on that selection course. So the camaraderie was there, but it wasn't amazingly tight. It was the camaraderie comes more from the training afterwards. And I remember one of the instructors coming up to us after selection and be like, "Oh, well done." We're like, "Oh yeah, thanks." He's like, "That was the easy part." And I was like, "Oh fuck, he's just saying that." But he was right.
Just on that, so you, again, referencing the Jamie Pinnell episode, you do the selection and then there's a period of training. But immediately after selection, what's the physical aftermath of that? Do you go into a cave for a week and like just recover, or are you sinking piss, eating pizzas? Like, what does it actually look like?
Yeah, so we got shipped back down to Burnham because Matt and I were from 2nd 1st Battalion down there. And we had a pretty cruisy week or so at work because we were hobbling around. I just remember waking up the night after we'd finished the 60K and we're in the 12-man barrack rooms there, and I saw Matt. I was awake because my whole body was just throbbing. And I saw Matt, hobble past to go for a piss, and he just stopped at the end of my bed, not because it was my bed, but just stopped and he just looked down and just try and muster the energy to sort of carry on and go to the bathroom. And we just belt fed Subway and pancakes, I think, for about a week straight afterwards. And our legs just ballooned. I don't know if that was, I guess, just swelling really after all that.
And then the training starts, and that's just as brutal?
Yeah, I mean, Matt and I were quite lucky in that regard because we were quite junior, and so we got told to go back to battalion and get some experience up. And during that time, our platoon, we got the Solomon Islands trip as well. So some of the guys get it pretty rough. They come straight off the back of selection, and then they go straight back up, get all their kit, and crack on with 9 months of intensive training. But we were quite fortunate in that regard to come back, reset, recover, and get a trip under our belt and come back up all fresh and ready.
And you love the heat. You love the heat of the Solomon Islands.
Yeah, it's a sweaty place, that's for sure. That prickly heat's quite gnarly. Have you had that before?
I've been lucky enough a couple of times to be in there. I always rock a long sleeve when I'm up there, just to get out of that brutal sun.
Yeah. Now, one of the boys, when we were doing some training over there, cut his sleeves off to get away from the heat, and it seems that everything you touch just wants to bite, sting, or eat you. So it's he's just got some gnarly rashes from that one.
Internally, are you kind of proud of yourself? You know, like, are you like, shit, I'm an SAS. Like, I've sort of achieved something.
I think initially, you do the selection process, and you're like, oh, sweet, you know, that was epic. You've been really tested, and but then you get up, and it doesn't mean anything. Everyone up there's been and done that and more. So you're just a very small fish in a big pond, really. Then you've got the 9 months of training, and then the guys have had operational deployments on top of that, like Jamie and stuff like that. It's definitely know your place.
So your comment before about getting told now the hard part starts, that is that next year, like, or is that just service after that?
So that was referring to the 9 months of training that we go through. So that's sort of broken down into 3 months of counter-terrorism training, like urban-based options, and then you go into the green roll phase as well. So it's a lot of bushcraft.
Yeah, well, one of the notes I've got in here is like, what happens to people when you're cold, wet, tired, and in the bush? Like, is that when you get to meet the real, the real person when they're really challenged?
Yeah, I always found it interesting sort of seeing how people react when they're sort of broken down like that. There's no place to hide. You know, it's I guess referring to the survival phase when we were in the bush for quite some time, and you're just living off the land. We've got a knife and some fire lighting kit, and that's pretty much it. And we just huddled together under this little hut, and just seeing the guys, they're cold, wet, tired, hungry, and they're still the same caliber of guys that they are when they're in a nice, comfortable environment as well. And that just speaks volumes to the types of people that go to the regiment and why they deserve to be there.
So are you like hunting live food while you're out in these exercises and cooking it over an open fire, and that's how you get your sustenance and covering your tracks and all that?
Yeah, so this was more of just a survival phase, so there's not so much of a tactical element to it. But we had enough guys in our course. We had 20 guys, so we just had an extended line through the bush, and we just walked along until we found some goats and herded them into a little bluff, and then just tackled them out of the sky as they sort of ran past us. And ate goat. Some of the guys ran down a pig, and a lot of mussels and crabs, and it's good times.
It's such a wild word, like world so far away from us, so far removed from our kind of knowledge.
So many questions. There's a gnarly story about you severely burning your back. What part of the timeline was this in?
So that what I was just referring to there about the hunting down animals, that was sort of like the precursor to the actual event, and so that was like a bit of a warm up really. And the main one is you get dropped off into Wairu in the middle of winter, and you've already done a patrol for a week or so, and then you go into a notional the run. You're behind enemy lines, and you're not supposed to light fires or anything, but one of our members was going down pretty hard with hypothermia, and so we lit a fire. And one guy who was looking after it, he went to go get firewood, and I don't know if I'm just special or not, but I rolled into the fire while he was out looking for some more wood. And I just remember waking up like, man, that's hot. So I was like, wriggled away. I was like, still pretty warm. Wriggled away a little bit further. I was like, okay, fuck, I'm on fire.
And you actually were up in flames?
Yeah, so about a third of my upper back was on fire. And I just started rolling around, and the guy who was collecting firewood came back and started trying to pat me out. And then one of the other boys woke up and thought that my mate was the enemy party, and so he was about to king hit him. And it was a little bit ugly for a little bit, but it's it was good experience, like being burnt in that regard, because it's just pain. It's not like you're not unable to walk or like a broken leg or anything. It's just wait for it to cool off, and it's sweet.
I love the framing of that. It's good experience. It's good experience. Because you got airlifted to hospital and had like a skin graft put on your back?
Yeah, so after that burn...
I feel like that's a lot of pain, I feel like. I mean, I'm by no means am I dodging pain in my life, but I feel like that's quite significant.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened. And I was quite lucky we were near a creek, and so the boys were just ferrying up bottles of water and pouring that over me and fanning me, and another guy was sort of like hugging my legs so they didn't want me to go into shock or anything, keep me warm while still cooling the burn. And that lasted for about 40 minutes, and then it just disappeared, and it was 100% pain-free after that. And then I don't think medical attention arrived for about an hour and a half, and then we had about a 45-minute bush bash up the mountain, hopped into a MOG and taken into Wairau Medical Centre there. And they're like, oh, we're going to health steroids. I was like, oh, no, it's sweet. Like, it's all good. She's like, your mate's on here. You don't have to act tough. I was like, no, it's literally, it's all good.
Was it all good?
Yeah, I know. It's just like that intense amount of pain, and then it just disappeared, and it was sweet. So we got airlifted out to Wellington, and it kept me there for 5 days, just monitoring for infection, and then ripped off 2 strips from my hamstring, and chucked that on, and where to go.
Now you got a hairy back.
Yeah, leg hair's growing my back.
I love how we.
What's your excuse, by the way?
Yeah, it's good graphs too. I love how we had to squeeze that detail out.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty major sort of like part of the story.
Is that a unique situation to have on a training exercise like that, or do things like that? Are you aware of other things like that happening to other people during the training kind of phase of?
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the guys were sort of pissed off at me because I was wearing polyprop, like an Under Armour garment, and they're epic for warmth, but it's obviously quite flammable as well. So all the courses after mine they weren't allowed to carry on with those thermals anymore. So that was obviously not
I'm
great
also
for the guys
interested.
either.
I'm also interested in like the internal politics of that situation happening during an exercise where you're supposed to be covert, right, and not give up your position. How much conversation is going on in that situation of, I think you'll be okay to let's carry on versus duty of care for you?
Yeah. I think the boys just sort of took it on, and they're like, well, it looks pretty ugly, so let's call it in. But the boys were allowed to crack on as per usual, but I was just extracted from that scenario.
Like the downplaying of it is incredible.
So Libby, your wife, has been really helpful in this, and so she sent us through some notes from your sort of journal and stuff that you've been writing along the way, and I sort of wanted to read some and discuss some with you. So first is there's 5 points, and it's kind of like, I guess, what skills you've learned along the path we've spoken about so far. So 1 is chunk. Everything can be chunked day by day, hour by hour. 2, give opportunities time. Just because it doesn't feel right straight away doesn't mean it's not for you. Keep turning up and learn. No one enjoys something they suck at. Once you have learned, then make the call. 3, new and discomfort is key. 4, never stop pushing. Momentum creates momentum. 5, if you're unsure of what to do, do something. Keep moving. If required, chunk.
The reason why I have this little book beside my bed is just because, sometimes you have those days where you're just like, oh, fuck, I didn't quite crush it that day. And, I've just got a few little notes that I've just jotted down throughout the years, and I just sort of use them to just recalibrate myself and make sure I don't make the same mistakes that day and crush the next one, really.
How many books have you got?
No, just the one.
Really? Over all the years, and you just make notes through it, or do you read back over it?
I read back through it all the time just to sort of reset and make sure I'm on the right path, really.
Because that's that Richie McCaw thing, right? Start again, like the kind of legend of him just every morning he'd write start again and go through his processes. Yeah,
I'm definitely not like a constant journaler. I don't write stuff down every day, but it's just stuff that comes out, like how our coach is Kim Simpringham from the last America's Cup. Like, even if you're feeling sick or fucked or anything, it's like something's better than nothing. Just stuff like that people say in everyday life. And it's like, oh, it's a nice one, so write that down and call it my own.
I love that number 2 because just because it doesn't give opportunities time. No one enjoys something they suck at. Once you've learned it, then make the call. Do you think how many people try something and they're not very good at it and stop?
Yeah, 100%. It's like you try something like this, this isn't enjoyable. It's like you're not going to enjoy it if you suck at it, but at least give it a crack, and then if you still don't like it, then you obviously don't like it. But yeah.
The next passage was talking about perfectionism is a mirage, and there's a sort of a bunch of bullet points under it. But I was hoping you could sort of lean into that and tell us a little bit about what that means.
I think I struggle with this a lot. Like I like to get things pretty perfect, or near perfect before I crack on with anything, and it's something like a bit of work in progress, really. I think it's done is better than perfect. It's so often in life I find that I won't do something because it's not fully done or I haven't fully prepped for it. And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. But you're just cutting yourself short, so you may as well just crack on with what you've got at the time, and then grow from there.
I don't think you're unique in that mindset. Like you're saying that, and I'm thinking about myself, feeling like the stars have got to be absolutely perfect. It's got to be the vernal equinox, and then I'll fucking actually start something versus actually just getting putting one foot forward and actually taking a step towards that thing. But it's so interesting hearing you saying it.
Yeah, well, personal admin is probably like my biggest. Like I hate doing that, and it's I think I've just got to have a quiet room, got to have the kids in bed before I can concentrate and do it. But it's that's never really going to happen that often. So it's just do it.
There's about 10 one-liners here. I'm just going to read, just because they're so good. So we can chat about them afterwards. So done is better than perfect. Be 1% better every day. No one cares what you can do fresh and ready. What can you do when you're tired and unmotivated? Taking no risks will end up being your biggest risk. Think strong, walk strong, act who you want to be, and you will become that image of yourself. Fuck victim's mentality. Life's not fucking fair. No one is coming to save you. Find the painful, the uncomfortable, and become comfortable. Do what others aren't willing to do. Be first. Discipline is freedom. I didn't have time means you didn't prioritize. Plan sleep-ins, don't just have them. No matter how average you think your life is, someone would kill to be in your shoes. Stay hungry. The most dangerous man is the one with nothing to lose. Act like your son is always watching. Know that your body can go well further than what you've trained for. Set goals for yourself and write down the reasons why you're doing this and remember them. Those are good, eh?
Yeah, they're not all mine. That's just stuff that I've picked up and chucked in there. But
kind of Goggins-y.
Yeah.
Are you a Goggins fan?
Yeah, either weapon. Yep.
But which of those...
Who's going to carry the boat?
Yeah.
Is that his?
Yeah.
Just checking.
When I'm reading those, are any of them stand out to them? Like the one that act like your son is always watching? Got me.
It's a good one for me. Yeah. It's I guess it's just like another level on that moral compass as well. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. But just don't want to let him down. I want him to be proud of me, and
the part of the army and the SAS world which is perhaps more difficult to talk about is loss. And when speaking to Libby, she kind of told us about, I think in the first 5 years that you were with her, you lost 5 friends, and I wondered what effect that has on you and how you sort of compartmentalize or deal with that side of things.
Yeah, we lost, so it was 4, almost 5, almost, year after year, really. And, they're all exceptional individuals, and sort of to have that loss as well. I mean, I wasn't incredibly close with some of them, but they're all incredible individuals, and to have that loss amongst the boys is quite gnarly, but you sort of see the guys rally together, and it's special environment, as you see.
It's an interesting environment because I guess it's a not a risk that everybody has in their everyday job. You train in environments that have high risk. You prepare for high risk situations. So I wonder, like you do for the SAS, and what is there preparation that goes in beforehand to help you deal with loss should it come your way?
Not formally. I think it's just that that brotherhood that's there as a good safety net. And I mean, saying that there's like some of the guys that passed were outside the regiment, but just they're getting after it and putting themselves in still risky scenarios, and I guess it's just what happens, really.
We don't need to talk about this if it's not comfortable, but I wondered about Nick, because Nick was probably your closest friend, right? are you able to tell us what happened with Nick and share that story?
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't there. I was in bed and got the call from one of the boys that Nick was on his way to hospital and having CPR done on him. And so, he was an exceptional individual as well. I was very fortunate to have been on cycle with him. So basically, those group of us that were on cycle together, we lived in each other's pockets. You're in like you're either in the bush together or like a 12-man barrack room as well. You know each other inside out. And he's they were conducting some training up at the BTF, the Aerial Battle Training Facility, and utilising the American Black Hawks. And they're just doing what they call a bump. And so they just helicopter just pulls up and they jump out of the helicopter onto the rooftop of the building. And when they secured the rooftop and looked back, Nick wasn't there. And they peered over the edge and he was down below. So 3 stories, falling with full body armor and helmet and everything. So the boys that were involved in that, I was asking how was it? And they're like, it was pretty awesome to be able to provide care from the very first instance and know that he had the best possible outcome of best care all the way through from where to go. And they said that was quite good closure, I guess, to sort of be part of that whole process as well.
It's interesting that seeing how your mind works when you're talking about this. The framing of it was really good, that we were able to give him the care he needed and sort of like finding the positives in like a truly tragic situation. Are you aware? Are you deliberately doing that?
No. It's just just talking sort of what the boys had said to me that were on the ground and experienced it firsthand. That's got to shake you, right? Like he was part of your wedding party, young family. Does it sort of make you take stock of where you're at and thinking about what you want to be doing? Yeah, for sure. And it's I guess that sort of leads into the other one. We'd lost 4 from the regiment. Then the 5th one was brother-in-law Johnny McGee. He had a pretty gnarly skydiving accident as well. And we're almost through the end of that year. And I was like, sweet, we've sort of broken the trend. And got a phone call again saying John is having CPR conducted on him right now. And I was like, fuck, not a 5th one. And that was quite gnarly, having so close to home. And that I didn't skydive at all after that. But that wasn't we've got private skydiving licenses to go and jump. But yeah, it's just you got 3 kids now. It's just not really worth it for me.
Yeah, I think we can leave that in if you want. I think it just sort of frames, some of the difficult times as well. And it's impressive to see how you sort of come out the other side of it. I want to sort of lead us out of the army in towards the next chapter of your life, which is, I think I described you as like a Forrest Gump type character. It is like you
special.
It's kind of like you're stumbling into these things and then you're excelling in them, and it takes you in this totally different direction. And I want to lead up to America's Cup, but via rowing, because you're still in the army, right? When you're sort of discovering the erg in rowing, and then in 2018, you decide to enter the New Zealand Indoor Rowing Champs and set a new record. So, what's your relationship with rowing at this point?
Pretty minimal, really. I growing up, we had a little local team, and they wanted to have a crack at rowing for whatever reason, and they need another person, so like I'll be that person just so you guys can have a team. And then that lasted probably like 6 months, and then we decided we wanted to get into mountain biking, and that was our thing. Very minimal exposure to the rowing scene. And then I guess one day we've got a record board in camp with all the weights lifted and distances run and rowed, and it's to promote a bit of competitiveness amongst all the units who are around camp. And one day I walked in and saw that my boss had been wiped off the 500 meter row, and I was like, I don't care who's up there, I just want one of the boys to be up there. And so organised for the physical training instructor to come in early the next day and witnessed my attempt and pulled minute 14 and And finished that and then jumped in with PT with the boys, and everyone was wondering why I was a sack of shit during the session, not knowing that I'd done that row just beforehand. And a week later, someone came up and said, "Oh, that's you just broken the New Zealand record."
And it was as simple as that. Another unit's name is on there. Nah, fuck that. Not on my watch. I'm going to give this a crack. And you gave it a crack and smashed it.
Yeah, it's long legs and long arms are pretty helpful, so it's did it right there. And my initial reaction was I was like, oh, it's just a calibration issue with the rower. There's no way that just happened. But then again, that same mate was like, oh, there's a indoor rowing meet down in Cambridge in like a month's time. I was like, Lib's grandparents are down there. We'll go say good day and do that. And so went there and said hi to her grandparents and had some of her grandparents' special slice, and turned up to the event and pulled the exact same time again. And
we need to dig in here. Libby's storytelling of this was great. She's like, it's a propping, rowing competition, and people are there with coaches and stuff. And Marius turns up, and his coach is me, and he's wearing like singlets and stubbies or something, and ends up beating Mahi Drysdale's record by like 4 seconds, right?
Yeah, I think 4 years.
Yeah.
Is it still the record now?
I have no idea, to be honest. I hope someone's beaten it. It could give me a good reason to get after it again.
Would you get after it again? If someone has, would you get after it again?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
But what's like? Are people crowding around you when you're doing it? Like, who is this guy who's just come in out of the blue and is dominating the runs?
I think they probably thought I was a bit of an idiot because I just came out hot, and then everyone's probably like, oh, this guy's going to blow. And then you can see on the screen because all the little boats are simulated up on the screen there. And, sort of out front. And then, I just stay there really with one other guy. And then he sort of drops off, and then a boat just carries on. But you can sort of see Eric Murray was running the program there. And he started to get pretty excited, and see the photographer come in, and
it's a story. There's a headline, SAS soldier does rowing for the first time, breaks New Zealand record. Okay, so then link us up to Team New Zealand, because this is the next thing, right? Like, when did this come on your radar, and how did you approach them in the first instance?
Yes, another random one with just an opportunity presented itself, and took it really. So a good family friend, Hamish Crawford, was having a few beers with him over summer, and we were just chatting, and he said, "Oh, you'd be a great grinder." I was like, "Okay," and then just thought that was just a random comment from him, and he was like, "No, I really think you do," and so he got on the phone on the spot, and he had some people in the sailing world and got some contacts, and I just remember him saying on the phone, to this guy, I didn't even know who it was, and he's like, if you get this guy, you'll win the cup. I was like, pretty outrageous call, but all right. And so got the email contacts of Blair Tuke and Glenn Ashby and Kevin Shoebridge as well, and then just sent an email out of the blue saying, I've just done this row, keen to have a chat. And
such a Kiwi story. It's such a Kiwi story.
So Blair Tuke's been in the DMs, and he remembers the first time he met you at a cafe, and he said you were so sweaty, you were sort of awkwardly sweaty. What do you remember about meeting Blair for the first time?
Yeah, no, I was pretty nervous. I just wanted to make a good first impression, so went out and bought some new shoes and put on a collared shirt, I think, and went down, and it was a fucking hot summer's day, and I was regretting the collared shirt option, and just beating up something chronic from a mixture of nerves and the heat as well, and I was surprised you didn't think I was some sort of pest, but it obviously went all right.
Did you have like a sailing, like any inclination towards sailing, or did it just seem like a good idea and an opportunity to do something very different?
I mean, I've had very minimal exposure in the sailing world competitively up until that point. I did Optimist when I was a young fella up in Russell, and then growing up in the Back Islands, you've always been in and around boats throughout your life, so had a very basic understanding of sailing, but never to like that sort of level at all. But again, just to answer your question, it's more just like let's just see where this goes, and no harm in putting it out there, really.
Are you out of active service by that stage? Are you...
No, I was still serving then, and I was fortunate enough the unit granted me leave without pay, so I just came out of that, did the cup, and straight back in.
Did you and did you have to sign off from the SAS like some like a mystery crew guy? Like, well, I know the America's Cup's like cloak and dagger, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but you've got like this trained weapon on your boat. Like were there any like things you had to jump through to get that across the line?
No, incredibly supportive of it all, which is awesome. And no, they were just stoked for me to have that opportunity. I mean, it's easy to say you're in the military. The military is a big place to hide. So I just sort of kept that as I was just a guy from the army doing sailing, really. So
Grinder M. Did you have to take an alias? That would be amazing.
I've got some stuff to read now from Adam Story, who's Team New Zealand strength and conditioning coach. It's a bit lengthy, but I think it's really good and paints a picture. So he says, early in 2019, we began the selection process for our Team New Zealand grinders, which involved putting the potential candidates through a series of grueling physical performance tests. In the mix were individuals who had previously been with the team during the 2017 Bermuda campaign. We also had an amazing array of world-class athletes from other sports, and then there was an unknown elite soldier who had recently broke the New Zealand indoor 500-metre rowing record. The potential candidates were given sufficient time to train and prepare for the 2 days of testing. During the testing days, each candidate was allocated a specific time slot to run through the test battery, which would involve maximal power and endurance tests on the grinding erg, along with maximal strength tests in the gym. After each test, the grinding erg would be sitting in a puddle of sweat. The candidates would peel themselves off the handles after emptying their tanks, and they would then move on through without saying much to us. When it was Marius's turn, very few words were said either before or after his tests, and I was particularly interested to see how he would perform. As my colleague Dr. Dan Plews and I were crunching the numbers, I noticed that Marius quietly cleaned down the machine without being asked to do so, and he was the only person to do this. I also watched as he waited in the wings to congratulate the next potential candidate for throwing it down after they'd finished their test. Marius absolutely sent it like a bat out of hell on the grinding erg, but without going into full details, he sat in the bottom half for our grinding specific tests. When it was time to present our recommendations to the people making the final decision on the makeup of the grinding team, I said that although Marius's numbers did not make him first cab off the rank, the effort that he threw down during the testing and the high standards of professionalism that he quietly showed after the testing when he thought no one was looking made him the type of person that you would want in your team. As strength and conditioning coaches, we can improve the physical performance of athletes through structured training, but if an individual is not a good team fit, it doesn't matter how fit, fast, or strong they are. During the regatta, Marius further stepped up this professionalism and he made a lasting impact on the entire ETNZ team.
It's, pretty kind words from Adam.
Yeah, I find that insight into the behind the scenes of why you got selected and the detail of, cleaning and welcoming and being a team member, that's good, eh? That's good detail. That's just you're not thinking about doing that to get in. That's just who you are, right?
No, I think this just stems from the time with the regiment. I'd say anyone from the regiment would have done the exact same thing if they'd been given the opportunity to do what I did. It's just part of that culture as well. It's almost like especially in like a cycle, it's almost like a battle to do the jobs. There's almost arguments over who gets to do the job, the shit job, It's it's just built into that culture, and I think they just sort of float on outside of that environment, really.
Are there similarities between the regiment and Team New Zealand?
Yeah.
What are the key ones that stand out, or what are the key differences?
I guess it's just like the good classic Kiwi nature of both of those teams. When guys were saying, was it hard to leave? It would have been so hard to leave the unit. It's like, well, it was hard to leave, but when I went to Team New Zealand, it was almost like I was in the same environment, and there was almost like mirror individuals in both sides. I've got your mate in the unit, and then you go to Team New Zealand, and you've got basically the same person, same caliber, same characteristics, same mannerisms, and it was almost like I've just absorbed a new group of mates that were pretty much the same that I had out in Papakura there. So it was the culture as well with the out in Papakura, the culture's it's sort of expressed when you first come in, but it's the people is the culture, and it's the same with Team New Zealand as well. It's just people leading from the top by example, and it just trickles on down.
As you're getting into Team New Zealand, are there more punishing questions like we're providing around your SAS background and people wanting to understand and know a little bit more about this mysterious grinder M?
There was a few. As we sort of got to know the boys as well, sort of more and more came out. And then later on, one of the boys was saying, I was curious about your scar on your back, but I didn't want to talk about it in case it brought up some PTSD or something. It's like, no, it's not that bad. There's good chats over lunchtime with those guys for sure.
Did you also have friends that you hadn't seen in a while? You're like, oh, what are you up to? you still in the army? You're like, nah, I'm Team New Zealand now. What? Because you are leaving at some point here, right?
Yeah, so for that first campaign in Auckland, I was just leave without pay, and then on the completion of that cup, I think within 2 weeks, I was back in the army as well. And then it wasn't until the Barcelona campaign kicked off that I put my hand up to. When I put my hand up, it was the team was on its skeleton crew. Really, there's not a lot was going on. They were sort of focusing on the land speed project with Glen Ashby, and also building all the hydrogen 14 chase boats as well. So the emphasis wasn't so much on the boats themselves, but I was just keen to get stuck in and get a vibe of the team from the ground up. So I felt like in the Auckland Cup, when I joined, I basically came in and everything was already charging, and I was just sort of whipped along for the ride. And I almost felt like I just came in for the glory days, and I wasn't there for all the hard graft that had gone in beforehand, because the team would have been working sort of like almost a year before I came on board. And coming on early for the Barcelona campaign was awesome. I was just storming and emptying bins and sweeping floors and taking orders, and it was really cool to sort of see how the place worked and got to know all the people from all throughout the whole team. And it was nice to see the culture before it fully was humming.
When you're on the boat and you're grinding in that first campaign, how aware are you of the actual of the race as it is, or are you just head down grafted? Like what does the actual crew look like?
Yeah, it's pretty minimal. So you're sort of painting a bit of a word picture in your head of what's going on just based on the comms of the boys like Pete, Blair, and Andy and Nathan. And you're just trying to focus on your job as best you can. You're only sort of picking out of the conversation chat of those boys of what's relevant to your job. Otherwise, it's not a lot of use you knowing exactly what's going on. You just want to know what's going on that directly affects your job and do your job to the best of your ability.
The part of the detail which intrigued me is that when you're in Team New Zealand, you've got training, but during the day you've also got these other jobs, and you were running the whole like comms department for Team New Zealand, which was, from what I understand, like a full-time job. Yeah. And you had limited experience in it, but you took it on and you nailed it.
Yeah, I think Blair for that one. I think the conversation sort of went along the lines of I use radios in the army. I was like, yeah, you can do comms.
And this is on the second. This is a second campaign.
This is the first campaign.
All right.
Yeah. And
Nice to meet you. You're on comms.
Yeah. Worst job.
Is it the worst? Is it the worst? Is it like last on worst job?
It's just one of those ones where it's everyone, like, how we're talking now, it's just expected that that's what happens, and a lot of work has to go in to make it like that. And it's just sort of, I guess it's one of those jobs where it's taken for granted that you can always talk to people and hear people, and when it doesn't work, it affects absolutely everything. The whole thing sort of has to get shut down and tuned back up. It ended up being a bit of a major, really. I think the first day out, the brief was basically make sure they're all charged and waterproofed and tested before we go out. Sweet, easy, did that. And they're all working, and we go out my first day on the boat, and the boat takes a nosedive, and all the mics get doused with water, and air pieces come out, and Pete and Blair both come up and be like, oh, my comms aren't working. I was like, okay. That wasn't part of the brief. And so it's quite a hard and fast learning curve, really. I had like a 5-minute lesson on soldering from Ray Davies, and that was pretty much it, really. So after get back on shore, and it was ripping pieces apart and trying to solder new wires together, and it was. I definitely didn't enjoy it. but I enjoyed the whole process of what it made me go through as well. It sort of felt like you were adding value to the team outside of your sort of grinding capacity as well. So that was quite nice to have that piece as well.
Does everybody have a second job?
Yeah, most people have. Some guys go to cell loft or the hydraulics department and stuff like that. So I guess the main reason is that we can be farmed out not only to help out with those different departments, but also so if we're on the boat, you've got a subject matter expert on board the boat that can sort of preempt or quick to diagnose any issues or failures that come on board because they're on the board experiencing it and they can start thinking why that might be happening. I was the only one to have a department by myself, just one deep. So,
am I right in thinking because you didn't enjoy it and because it was hard work and it was packed into already like your other job you're doing, you kind of did enjoy it?
Yeah. Psych away.
Comfortable getting uncomfortable situation. Yeah.
That I guess I learned a lot from that. Just fiddling around and mucking around with different things and trying new things. Like I had a lot of help. Started to ask a lot of guys for their advice and had to redesign what they initially had and liaising with some 3D printers as well and just create a whole new headset. And it was that process was good fun. Yeah.
Mm. Speaking of fun, I've got a little story here. So Louis Sinclair, I understand, was in hydro. His job was in hydro, whatever that is.
Hydraulics.
Yeah.
And he measured everything just out of interest. And the story I've heard is that he measured his testicles and wrote them up on the whiteboard and challenged anyone to come and have bigger nuts than him. And no one really was challenging it. Until Marius just walked in, busted them out in front of all of us. And they measured them on the veneers, which are rulers, 72 millimeters. And we're like, holy heck, that's double the size of anyone else. And that's how Goose Eggs came around. And later in the campaign, you'll see people around the corner looking down at their crutch and they're holding some veneers trying to see how close they are to him or if they're in the ballpark for a win. There's quite a few people hunched over measuring their nuts, but no one came close to 72 millimeters.
Is that a lot of questions? I mean, more questions here than SAS. But is that one, or is that the two? Is it
That's one on lengthways.
Holy shit! Amazing.
My reading of that was you metaphorically had the biggest nuts, but you also actually had the biggest nuts.
That's such. Yeah. Is that just team? Is that just team culture when things are like locked away on tour? Was that second tour? First tour?
That was first tour. Yeah, I was from rocking in, and I thought they were joking initially, and he's like, "No, serious.
Big nuts.
Are you kidding me? Here's a nut."
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's fully serious, and he opened his cupboard, and he had like a bit of a spreadsheet running of all the boys' names and their their length of nut, or size of nuts, and
and that's the inner sanctum.
You wouldn't want to be like bottom of the list, would you? You wouldn't want that moniker.
No shame.
Yeah, no, true. Actually, you've got what you've got.
What is winning it in 2021? What do the celebrations look like? What do you remember from the victory?
That was awesome.
Squashed rat or something. Was it wombat? Is it?
Yeah, the wombat.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain's gone straight to nut stuff. I've got to get out of there very quickly. You've won the cup. Congratulations. Off you go.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was felt very well earned. There was a number of times during those races where we were just absolutely in a hole, and it was awesome to get that win. I think one of the races we were constantly coming off the foils, and the other boat was miles ahead, and we battled our way through and took the win out of that one. That was pretty epic. I was pretty deep in the hurt locker there, and it's just the way I sort of work when I'm in that hole in pain is just like, I just can't let the team down, and so I was just giving everything I had to give the boys the power that they needed to do what they could, and to get that win was that was almost more meant more emotionally to me than actually winning the cup, because the race we won in the cup, the boys had started such a perfect race, and it was very manageable from a power point of view, and I mean, to get the cup's epic win, but for me, I hadn't been properly tested on that last race that we won the cup on. So yeah, the races that meant the most to me was when I was absolutely tapped out, and got the win from that one.
Is there sizing up of other of like opposition grinders when you're kind of in and around Auckland? Like, are you?
He's a big boy.
Yeah, you're walking around like going, 72 over here. But like, is there that it's competitive, but you're not really.
Yeah, we're quite segregated, especially during that time. That was when COVID was around, and so we were quite, we're kept in our bubbles, and especially like during racing as well. Like a lot of us with families, we hold up in a hotel just so we weren't bringing, risking that bringing any COVID in from the kindies or whatever like that. So there wasn't a lot of interaction with the other teams for the Auckland-based Cup, but in Barcelona there is a little bit more opportunity to catch up with the guys over there.
Being a grinder in Auckland and being a cyclor in Barcelona.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, I had that in my life. Right?
I didn't know that was
a lot of people say Barcelona.
I didn't know that was coming. Where do you land on the Barcelona?
I'm straight to Barcelona.
Yeah. You know the tick. How many make the transition? Like, how many is it a skill set that most people are that if they're good at one, are they good at the others, or like how many made the cut?
So myself, Simon, and Louis and Marcus. So four of us came from the Auckland campaign and rolled into the cycling campaign. A number of guys from the last one, they just went on to other endeavours, and I don't know if they even put their hand up to trial really, but that was their time to sort of move on to the next thing.
And what's the skill set? Is it just going as hard as you can for as long as you can? Is it similar?
It's cycling's obviously a completely different beast, swapping over from the upper body to the lower body. So you're sort of coming from like a triangle like that to making yourself like that. But yeah, I was fortunate enough because I came on to the team like almost a year before the trials as storeman and stuff like that, and so I utilised that time to get all the legs up and running, and that put me in pretty good stead for the trial for the cycling.
Was there some sort of indoor 500 metre cycling record that you could smash to try and get yourself up for that as well?
I actually spent the first 3 months of that year trying to break my own record, and Adam was helping me out with that training program as well. And a few guys came down to watch me in the gym, and I ended up pulling the exact same time. I just used a different strategy and pulled the exact same time, which is quite disappointing. And I was pretty fucked off and disappointed at myself for wasting everyone's time to come down and see me do the exact same thing that I'd already done. And so I turned up the next day and cranked some aggressive tunes in the gym, but a tool, and then did it myself, and I bettered my own record by like another second. I sort of spent the first 3 months focusing on that, and that was probably about it for me. And then
tool is that's a go-to. That's a deep cut. I like that.
I'm going to take a little detour to family because we haven't mentioned you've got 3 young kids, right? How old are the kids?
So we got Pippa who's 6, and then Guy who's 5, and Maggie who's 3.
So you were in it. And I sort of want to talk about that balance and I guess what parts of the sort of the army life or even Team New Zealand you take to the family environment, and what sort of discipline you're laying down at home?
Yeah, I guess it's discipline. I think I came in pretty hot with discipline when we first had our kids, and that probably wasn't sitting too well with our boy. He sort of got to the point where you put him in timeout and he just looks at you and sort of cracks up. You're like, okay, it's probably not working anymore. Need a different tack for this one. But yeah, I think I just enjoy being outdoors with them and taking them outdoors and sort of pushing them, not letting them give up and just making them, I guess, a lot of bribes along the way. Like our eldest Pippa. I went for a run up Mount Paonui a couple of weeks ago, and just to get the sunrise up there, then came back down, and she's like, oh, what were you doing? I was like, I just ran up there to get sunrise, and she's like, I want to do that. Okay. Then next day, under head torch, she went up there and got the sunrise with me as well. And so I guess it's just sort of giving those opportunities for them to push themselves and put them out there, and facilitating that as best I can.
You have obviously, as we've spoken about, like been in some situations and seen some shit. I can't imagine 3 young kids would ever rattle you. Like, do you ever lose your cool at home?
I get frustrated for sure. It's I really enjoy. I'm not just saying this, but I really enjoy having all the kids. Giving Lib a break and she can go have her girls' weekend or whatever, and it's awesome just having the 3 kids. I quite enjoy sort of managing all the different things. Like I definitely have like quite a strict timings with meals and sleep time and everything like that. And I really enjoy taking them outside. And I mean, we go to the beach and go crab hunting and stuff like that. And it's epic. Just they're just so focused on where's the next crab, and just completely takes you away from whatever you got on in your own world. So.
Is the instructions you're up at 0700 and that sort of, is it military lingo in the household?
No, I don't even think they know that I was in the army.
Do they, that's an interesting piece in itself, right? Like that whole world of yours that'll get explained down the line. Will be fascinating to kind of see how that plays out with the kids.
Yeah. I always remember the first badge guy that I met that sort of prompted my path to go down that way. I remember him having left the unit. And he had a young boy as well, and I just remember being so gutted for his little boy. I was like, man, your little boy is never going to know like the legend that your man was, sort of thing. But now that's sort of it's exactly what I've done as well. So.
Yeah, was that a decision and leave a big part of the reason you left the service, because family becomes more important and you want to be around them more?
Yeah, 100%. It's I mean the military is great, but I've just wanted to guarantee or try and maximize those weekends with the kids as well, and be around for those little things like the sports trainings and stuff like that. And you do spend when you're home, but there are significant times throughout the year that you're not home as well. And I was just trying to make sure that I don't get too far down that path before it comes too hard to leave, so I can pivot and spend some more time with the family.
Yeah, nice. One other little detour before I sort of bring us back to present day is during COVID, you were the site manager at Jet Park MIQ. And so this is from Bruce. He sort of was like a pressure cooker of politics, logistics, and gang tensions. And after talking to Libby, she sort of said this was a really challenging sort of period for you. 8 months or so you were there. What do you remember about that time?
Yeah, it was completely different from anything I've ever been exposed to before. The team there with the management side were top notch, so that sort of helped the process a lot. But I guess just sort of seeing that side of society, because we had a lot of, all the communicators, the high risk communicators coming on board, and just the complications and all the different factors that were influencing the way they behaved was pretty mind blowing to me, having never experienced that interaction with those sorts of guys, and. So it was definitely kept me on my toes, and the initial posting was for 4 months, and then the opportunity came up to do another 4 months. I was like, oh, fuck it, right, I'll do that as well. And that was pretty challenging just in terms of like dealing with those types of people as well. Like we would have, a guy who had ordered his onion dip and his countdown delivery for his chips one night, and his onion dip didn't turn up, and that resulted in curtain rails being ripped off the wall and harpooned through these reinforced windows, and $10,000 worth of damage. And he was due to be released in like 3 days' time. It's just that sort of carry on almost every day.
So are they sending you in to deal with it?
No, so we had police who were fully gowned up in COVID PPE, ready to go 24/7. So they sort of managed it face to face, and we were sort of in the, I guess, behind making all the logistics work for that.
What, and sort of, I'm not searching for difficult times, but has there been any sort of mental health adversity or periods where you've sort of struggled for a little bit, and was this potentially one of them?
No, I think if I want to go down that road, it's probably the comms is probably the most mentally, hard parts that I've endured through my life. There's, again, like I said before, like I had no idea what I was doing. I was just figuring it out along the way, and trying to make that work for a team of, there's like 150 or so people in Team New Zealand at its max capacity, and everyone's just chipping in so hard, and they're all top of their game in those particular fields, and they're putting in massive hours and massively like emotionally invested as well. And then I was trying my best to get this comms piece up and running, and then to have any failures along the way, you're almost shitting on everyone else's hard work of that team of 150, because that'll just shut the day of sailing down as well. So that was quite stressful, and trying to battle my way through those issues and make sure everything's good to go for the day, because it's most valuable thing in the America's Cup campaign is time. And if you're wasting that, then it's a big fuck up.
Did you keep the comms portfolio for the second campaign?
I did, yeah.
By choice?
No.
But did that speak to, I guess, the job that you did on the first campaign to be like, well, it's a safe pair of hands. We know he can do the job. We'll keep it with you?
Yeah, I think so. And I had the base plan worked out, but we just needed to refine that. So I spent that whole next campaign just refining the process of what we've just done, and ended up with a successful result. But it's almost like one of those things where like when you provide a capability, then it's like, sweet, we want the next capability. So it's just this ever evolving. There's always new things to add, and I did have a lot of help in that regard as well, because that sort of got into the matrix level of stuff, and that was well beyond me. But
such a fascinating insight into how like a team like that functions in terms of all the moving pieces and the different parts. I mean, from the outside, you assume you're a cycler, so that's your role. You're off your feet the rest of the time, versus actually, like you say, time is the critical currency there. So you're maximising every moment of it to optimise the big picture.
I think that's where like the point of difference is with a lot of the teams as well. Like Team New Zealand, I think especially is good at getting everyone involved in everything. And I know a lot of the other teams, they try to emulate that, or some guys just didn't at all. And so they would just come and do their training, and if they weren't sailing, that would be them, and they weren't even offering to help out at all. But that just wouldn't fly Team New Zealand at all. So everyone's getting stuck in.
You've got a really unique set of skills, hey?
Random, yeah.
I'm thinking there'll be someone listening to this and be like, oh my God, this guy would be so valuable to us. Where are you at, like current day? What's the outlook, and what are you thinking about the future?
So at the moment I'm currently doing some contract sailing, doing some sailing over in Europe, which is good fun, sort of keeps my hand in the game. And I guess just looking forward to the future with a few little things. One of them, I just feel through my experiences with sport and the military side, it's I've really valued the time spent in, again, here comes the pain side, but like the suffering side, and it's really created a strong sense of team bonding with everyone as well in those teams. And I don't think people in their normal work environment get that opportunity to sort of mix and see what each other are like when they're completely broken down to the husk that they are. And I think a way to facilitate that would be, I guess, like an outward bound on steroids, in simple terms, really. And so that's something that I'm quite passionate about, and looking at exploring options and how I'd run a course along those lines as well.
I'm glad you brought this up, because I was talking to Libby about it, and like I got so excited by the idea. So she sent me through this document. If it's all right, I'll read a few things that is on it. So we can cut this out.
It's copyrighted, guys.
Yeah. So it's the forge, right? And so here's the like bullet.
Is that like an armory? A forge?
The forge is like anvil, sort of,
Yeah. And Mandalorian for the Star Wars people out there.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Star Wars fans.
No names, no titles. You are referred to by number only. Only one individual will be issued a watch. Time is a privilege, not a right. How you manage it reflects how you lead. Issued uniform and gear, everyone wears the same. Status is irrelevant. Instructor demeanor is firm, fair, unfriendly. No encouragement, no praise. Respect is earned. No phones, no distractions. Presence is mandatory. Mental strength is the separator. Age, background, fitness doesn't matter. You are not here to complete a course. You are here to meet yourself. And then the final line is, we are not your mates. This is not a retreat. You will be cold, tired, and under pressure, because that's when the real you shows up, and that's who we're here to meet. That will be so popular, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's a market for that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's something that I'm quite passionate about. I'm pretty keen to explore. So it's it's funny that she got hold of that. But yeah,
Who would be your target group?
well, I mean, we've had a number of sports teams come through the regiment, and we've conducted a few trainings with them over that. And so I guess they would be open to that as well, and sort of team bonding in the corporate sector as well.
Have I got it right? You did a keynote for the Blues?
Yes, it was just like an optional period during the day they could turn up or not. And yeah,
How did that go?
Yep, it was it's kind of hard to gauge your room because you're all quite serious dudes.
We've done that as well. You kind of deliver something and they come and go, that was the best piece of PD we've ever done before. And you're like, fuck, okay, I don't know whether that's that.
Is that what they said to you?
Behind your back. Firm, friendly and unfair.
Yeah. No, Vern was sitting there and he was just looking at me. I was like, fuck, he's not enjoying this at all. But at the end, he just came up and said he enjoyed it. So
What did you do? Like a keynote, or did you lean on your experiences through the
I don't
force?
really feel comfortable telling people how to conduct themselves because that's not really my jam. I just sort of tell people my experiences and what I've learned that worked for me, and that's about it, really.
Was it like a summary of kind of those notes that Stephen went through earlier, or some of those kind of life philosophies? Or
Yeah, I don't really touch on that. It's more just along the lines of the culture that I experienced with Team New Zealand and the unit as well, and how they sort of related to me. And
As we come down the home straight, this has been such an epic chat. I want to just give some space to talk to Libby because I had a really great chat with her, but I am always mindful of you've got this rock at home who is allowing you to sort of go off and have all these adventures. What can you tell us about Libby and what the role she's played?
Yeah, she's pretty solid. When we first met, I was like, pretty tight little girl, and I was my only concern was that maybe she wasn't, that she was just quite like didn't like to get too dirty or anything like that in terms of like getting the outdoor activities.
I'm glad you clarified that.
And
I was going to go real feral there. I've never met her before, so I'm just going to, out of respect, I'm going to leave all of that. It's in my head.
And so when we were quite new, I was like, I just want to clear that piece up. And so I made sure it was middle of winter and a storm was coming. And so I took up to Russell and I made her at high tide in a storm, middle of winter, run around the peninsula of Russell. And so that involves, rock climbing and jumping into the swell and trying to not get smashed on the rocks. And it was fucking cold. And she did the whole thing with a smile. Yeah. So that after that point, I was like, okay, she's solid.
Little relationship selection test.
Yeah.
Are you aware that her brother-in-laws all call you God?
Yeah, I think Brute. Yeah.
Are you aware? Is that a playful nickname, or is that a? Where does that sit with you? Where does that sit with you?
Oh, it's just the boys taking the piss, I think. Yeah.
Or are you leaning into it and going, well, yeah, actually, there's a high benchmark to
worship me.
She did tell us that she heard about you before she met you, described as a Greek god. You got to see this guy, the way he's built in his body.
Yeah. Whereas Tom described you as a redwood with a tiny head and a huge body.
Yeah. I do have a tiny head, that's for sure.
Russell Rats as well?
Russell Rats, yeah, that was just our little squad. Pretty tight since primary school, and we're still, pretty tight now, so it's pretty special to have gone through all the schooling years together, and then, everyone sort of split up, went around the world, and now everyone's sort of coming back to New Zealand, and funnily enough, they're all sort of migrating back to Russell as well. But
throwing down against the Pie
prawns.
Prawns?
Yeah, big battle with them, so...
Just on your childhood, while we're in there, your mum told me about like a really giving side of your nature, and I think it was in your early years, one of those leaflets that gets dropped off at a house or something at your school around mistreated women or kids or child trafficking in India, and you like saved up your lawn mowing pocket money, and she helped you distribute it towards that charity cause.
So when I went to the army, I was kind of keen just to start life from absolute scratch, and so I think I kept a couple $100 to myself for all the toiletries and stuff like that I'd need, but gave the rest to charity, just to sort of turn up and get used to not having fuck all money and no friends at the time. So it was quite a cool thing to look back on, knowing that you've gone into a new environment with no money, no friends, and sort of managed to create your own path from that.
Was that a symbolic kind of a very deliberate gesture to do that?
Yeah, 100%.
And just on the lawn mowing thing as well, it's a slightly different detour, but she did share a story about a stroppy young man who was told to mow the slopey part of the lawn and didn't really want to, so mowed a penis into the lawn that was visible from like afar.
Yeah. No, as you're leaving Russell, you would have been able to see it. So that was me.
How big was it?
I think it was about 20 meters or so.
Wow. And the nuts?
77.
All right, I'll bring us home. I hope this hasn't been too unenjoyable for you.
Yeah. No, it's been good. You guys have created a good atmosphere, so
Yeah.
appreciate the time.
We were talking about how interesting it is to prepare for an episode with someone who we've been told doesn't really want to be there. So it's been an interesting exercise, but hopefully, a worthwhile one.
But my favourite guests are ones that are humble and don't want to be telling their story, but we get it out of them. You know, like
Make you work for it.
Yeah, well, just there's something, I don't know, maybe it's really Kiwi about just living an extraordinary life and sort of, you know, people really having to work to get it out of you. I really like that. But I was wondering how it would be for you hearing, you know, things said and written about you and praised. And I just want to load on to that now. Everyone we spoke to at Team New Zealand was like, he's probably not aware of how in awe people are in that group of him. He's like, of the 150 people in that team, everyone holds him in the highest regard by the way he carries himself and his discipline and his work ethic. The word used was in awe of him. So I feel really privileged that we have had the chance to sort of, you know, share your story with others. So I'm really grateful that you did lean into the uncomfortableness and travel down the motorway to spend some time with us.
I think it was a telling. Almost the first thing you let us in on was that childhood experience of being out in front of the cross country and not being comfortable with it. And I don't imagine, and I could tell by your body language, that's not a comfortable thing for you to be talking to or leaning into. But I guess it set the tone for almost how the chapters of your life have followed since. And that level of self-reflection, I think, is my biggest takeaway from the conversation with you around really thinking deeply into why you do the things that you do and what impact they have on not just you, but also your family. And that act like your son is watching is a big one that I've taken away as well, about how you conduct and carry yourself. And hearing how your teammates from Team New Zealand spoke about the things that you do away from the spotlight is really, really interesting and speaks to the person that you are.
Yeah, no, cheers. No, I appreciate it. It's been enjoyable time, not too uncomfortable. So.
How old are you, Marius?
34.
34.
Sorry, 35 now, aren't we?
35.
Yeah.
I'm excited just to follow the next chapter and just to see where the path goes next. Forge sounds awesome.
Forge is the one to get behind.
But also beyond that, there's going to be some twists and turns, I'm sure of it. But yeah, thanks for coming in. It's been awesome.
No, thank you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.